This is Coach Livy from A Woman's Intuition, and I just wanted to make sort of like a quick video about how to deal with breakups, because a lot of times, especially as women, we tend to forget who we are, and when things end, relationships or friendships or things like that end, and there's essentially a breakup, we don't really know how to handle it, and we're hurt. We don't understand why it happened, and we try to look for whose fault is it? Did you do something wrong? And I'm just going to give you the 3 major tips for dealing with breakups. And no one wants to prepare for the worst, but definitely don't get caught off guard. And don't walk around as if nothing bad could ever happen to you. I've been there. I've done that, and I'm dealing with the consequences. So, 3 big tips. The first tip for dealing with a breakup is try not to blame anyone. And I want to say that, saying that, yeah, you make mistakes and other people make mistakes. But when I say try not to blame anyone, what I'm really saying is don't look at it as, oh, they did this to me, I did this, I made a mistake, I should have done more, I should have been this kind of person, or, we don't want to do that. Because as women, as men, we go through changes, we elevate, we grow, and sometimes the people who are in your life aren't meant to be there forever. Meaning, you can't be someone you're not, they can't be someone they're not. If they're not ready to grow when you are they ready to grow or go to another level and you're not willing to go there with them, I don't think it's anyone's fault in terms of breakups. I think that at this point you choose to lovingly detach and move on to whatever God has in store for you. So, instead of placing blame, look at the situation for what it is and say, if it's over, okay, it's over, what's next? Don't place blame. Don't even try looking back and, picking this, that, or the other. That's not what we want to do. The second thing after, not trying to place blame on one person or the other, the second big tip for dealing with a breakup is remembering who you are. And I mentioned this earlier in the video, but for me, when I say remember who you are, we'll get in relationships, or we'll be with someone for years, right? And, we'll start doing things together, we'll start, making friends, and we'll start, having new people in our lives. But a lot of the connections that we started off with, a lot of what attracted us to people, we tend to fall off that. We tend to forget that, we were powerful, that we had a confident walk that day that might have attracted him or her, and that we had a goal, a vision, a plan that was independent of this individual. Yes, you're making a relationship together, but there's a relation, meaning there's one person and there's 2 people, and the 2 will eventually become one through matrimony or whatever the case, but you're still 2 people, meaning you still need to have individual lives, time apart sometimes. You need to know who you are. So if there is a breakup or there is a breaking point and maybe the relationship can't continue for whatever reason, that just because a breakup is over doesn't mean that your life is over, because you have a life outside of the relationship. So remember who you are. Establish outside connections out of your relationship, things that you do regularly with friends and family. Don't center your identity inside of a relationship. I say that a lot, and it's a big deal, especially with women, is we get lost in the ones that we love so much that if the ones we love leave, then who are we? Who am I without him? That's what you need to get back to in terms of, dealing with major breakups, is knowing who you are. And the third big tip, and I want to just sort of put this in a nutshell, is done. Don't go looking at his Facebook. Don't go looking at her Facebook. Don't go back and, who did this with the friendships, what friends did you have? Can you go back to that friend and see what this friend is doing, and that friend maybe can report to you what's going on with his new relationship or her new relationship, and drop it. It's not worth it. Too much heartbreak, too much heartache, especially when there's children involved. What's done is done. You create a new relationship, for the benefit of the children. Meaning, you don't have to be together to be great parents for your children, especially when it comes to co-parenting. This third tip is just, I think, the most major one. Is done. You don't need to keep track of them or see if they're happy or if they aren't happy, because once you become centered in who you are, it's not your fault, it's not his fault. Maybe you just grew out of each other. Once those first 2 things are taken care of, number 3, it's just that simple. It's done. Don't go back. Don't keep tracking them. Don't get on their Facebook. Wonder. It's natural to wonder what your ex is doing. But when you start acting on those wanderings is when you start getting desperate or start creating drama, or when they start creating drama with you, coming after your Facebook, your Twitter, harassing you. What are you doing? Who are you with? Why are you in this picture with this guy on your Facebook? We're not together anymore. We're not together. Why are you on my Facebook? It doesn't make sense. What's done is done. Why are you, trying to track me or trying to see where I'm going or who I'm with? Why does that matter to you? Period. What's done is done. Biggest tip is tip number 3. What's done is done. Let it go. If you have children, co-parenting. If you need to read a book on it, get a book on it. But for the benefit of the children, create a healthy relationship with this individual. But please, do not, under any circumstances, go tracking them or trying to have them track you and engaging in any drama that you are above. You are above it. You are above petty differences. You are above looking back. It's over. What's done is done. So those are my 3 big tips. 6-minute video. Hope it wasn't too long. Thank you for watching it. I appreciate you. We love you from A Woman's Intuition, and God loves you too. Stay blessed.